Liverpool rocked by shock twists on and off the pitch. Don't miss a second. Subscribe now for instant Reds updates, exclusives and breaking alerts. Alexis Mac Allister's dad sends forward message to Liverpool amid Man UTD transfer links. Alexis Mac Allister is on the radar of bitter rivals Manchester United, and the Liverpool star's father has addressed the possibility of a blockbuster transfer. Alexis Mac Allister's father has responded to the Liverpool star possibly joining rivals Manchester United. The 27-year-old is under contract at Anfield until 2028, having arrived from Brighton for £55 million in 2023. The versatile McAllister played a pivotal role in the Reds' Premier League title triumph last term under Arne Slot. This season has been lackluster by those standards, but he has had to take up a deeper role with Florian Wirtz introduced to the starting endstation. Liverpool's rivals United have long been on a reported search for a new superstar midfielder, and Mirror Football exclusively revealed this week that McAllister is on their agenda. United are keeping tabs on the Argentine and may attempt to lure him to Old Trafford come the end of this season. However, the player's father has now been asked about the possibility of a groundbreaking switch from Merseyside to Manchester, and he made it very clear where McAllister stands. The 27-year-old's father, Carlos, was questioned by Win about the potential United transfer and admitted his son is only thinking about Liverpool at the moment. Carlos added, "We are waiting for an offer to renew his contract. We will see what the club's plan is." He was also asked if McAllister could leave should negotiations stall, replying, "We'll wait and see what happens with the renewal, that's all." McAllister has not enjoyed the best of seasons with Liverpool. His side have failed to mount a bona fide title defence and currently sit outside the top four. Yet despite this slump, the Argentine made a stark admission earlier this month. He told the club's website, "We feel like we are in a good moment, in a much better moment than the beginning of the season. We are improving as a team, which is the most important thing." The manager had a really good meeting where he said that we needed to improve in both boxes. That's what we wanted, and I think we have showed it. We are more aggressive. That's what we want, and that's what we want to be consistent on. I think it's key. We have many players that are injured, so it's not that easy, but we are getting there. I think we are all happy. We are in a good moment, but we need to keep working and keep improving. Trent Alexander-Arnold moves step closer to Liverpool return after Champions League drama. Trent Alexander-Arnold could be heading back to Anfield later this year following recent developments at Real Madrid. Trent Alexander-Arnold edged closer to a possible Liverpool comeback following a contentious evening in the Champions League. The Reds have already secured their place in the last 16, allowing Arne Slot's squad to observe this month's playoffs before continuing their pursuit of a 7th European title in March. The opening round of playoff fixtures commenced on Tuesday. Liverpool edged nearer to discovering their last 16 opposition after Galatasaray thrashed Juventus 5-2, and the landscape heading deeper into the competition has become somewhat clearer. Real Madrid staged a rematch of their dramatic final league phase defeat to Benfica. This time, though, the Spanish heavyweights prevailed over their Portuguese rivals. The clash didn't come without controversy, however. Vinicius Jr. netted the sole goal of the encounter in Lisbon, guaranteeing Real will carry a 1-0 advantage back to the Bernabeu for next week's second leg. The match had to be suspended for approximately 10 minutes following the goal after Vinicius claimed he had been subjected to racist abuse, which Alexander-Arnold called a disgrace. Vinicius reported a remark directed at him by Benfica winger Gianluca Prestiani, prompting referee François Letexier to activate UEFA's anti-racism protocol. Chaos erupted as a backroom staff member was dismissed, while Jose Mourinho attempted to speak with a visibly incensed Vinicius before he was shown a red card. Prestiani had been spotted on camera covering his mouth with his shirt as he conversed with Vinicius before the report was made to the referee. The match did eventually restart, with Real maintaining its advantage as Mourinho was subsequently sent off. The outcome means Alvaro Arbeloa's side are now a step closer to securing a place in the last 16 and another potential return to Liverpool for Alexander-Arnold later in the competition. The two sides have already clashed this season, with the Reds recording a 1-0 victory at Anfield during the league phase, and they could meet again in the semi-finals should they both progress that far. Liverpool will discover which side of the draw they will be placed in on February 27th, when it will be paired with one of either Galatasaray or Juventus, or one of Club Brugge or Atletico Madrid. The former would put it on course for a potential meeting with Real and Alexander-Arnold. Elsewhere in the competition, Paris Saint-Germain came from 2-0 down to defeat fellow French side Monaco 3-2, with the defending European champion set to have home advantage in the second leg next week. PSG could be a potential quarter-final opponent for Liverpool in a possible replay of last season's last 16 showdown. Borussia Dortmund also secured victory, defeating Atalanta 2-0 in the first leg of their clash in Germany, and both of those teams are potential semi-final adversaries for the Reds. Liverpool told Dominik Szoboszlai's private feelings after agent's Real Madrid update. Dominik Szoboszlai's agent has confirmed the Liverpool midfielder is not looking elsewhere, despite Real Madrid transfer speculation. With Louis Saha now chipping in with his verdict, Dominik Szoboszlai could prove the perfect fit for Real Madrid, and Liverpool should be wary about the transfer speculation surrounding the midfielder, according to ex-Manchester United and Everton striker Louis Saha. Szoboszlai's future has become the focus of rumours over the past week after Hungary boss Marco Rossi revealed to Madrid-based sports publication Marca that the Liverpool star harbours a dream to represent Real Madrid. This followed Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr., confirming on YouTube that he maintains regular communication with Szoboszlai, having formed a friendship with the ex-RB Leipzig player earlier in his career. Los Blancos are anticipated to enter the market for a new long-term midfielder this summer, following the departures of Luka Modric last summer and Toni Kroos in 2024. And Szoboszlai has surfaced as a potential target alongside Paris Saint-Germain's Vitinha and AZ Alkmaar's Kees Smit, amongst others being mentioned. Whilst Real's pursuit of Szoboszlai remains purely speculative at this point, Saha reckons the Reds ought to be worried that Los Blancos are considering a swoop for him. Dominik Szoboszlai is a top player, very strong mentally and covers everywhere on the field, Saha told Casino Hawks. He can defend, attack, score goals and score free kicks. He is definitely the top man at the moment. When you're playing this well, especially at a club like Liverpool at the moment, who don't look like competing for the title, you have to be wary of a team like Real Madrid looking at your players. They are still looking at long-term replacements for Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, and Szoboszlai looks to be a good fit if he goes in with Jude Bellingham and Fede Valverde and their other options. I imagine they are looking for a player with this kind of capacity to create and disrupt. It does make sense he could be the perfect fit there, but at the same time, because of what happened with Trent, maybe the Liverpool board won't be happy to lose a player to the same club. Szoboszlai still has over 2 years remaining on his existing Anfield contract, but the club are eager to reward him for his development, having become a key figure this campaign. After the 4-1 victory over Newcastle United earlier this month, Szoboszlai subsequently confirmed discussions regarding a fresh deal are underway, and he voiced his ambition to stay on Merseyside long-term. His representative, Matthias Esterhazy, has now addressed Szoboszlai's future and confirmed that the Hungary skipper is not looking elsewhere and is determined to stay at the Reds despite attention from Real Madrid. It's completely normal for the public when Dominik is performing like this to talk about what's next and if there's something higher, he commented, speaking to Hungarian news outlet NB1. For us, it's not a topic. We are mid-season. He has a lot of work ahead of him in the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Champions League. He has said many times how important this competition is for him. So at the moment to talk about what will happen in the summer, in my opinion, is not correct. Not to mention, Liverpool are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and Dominik is in a position within the team that has a lot of reserve, so we are not looking outside or elsewhere. Szoboszlai, who has frequently been deployed at right back as well as in midfield this term, has netted 10 goals and supplied 7 assists in 35 appearances for the Reds in 2025-26. Without question, he's currently a strong contender for the club's Player of the Season award. Man Utd's £109.5 million transfer spending blocks. Alexis Mac Allister from Dream shirt numbers. Manchester United are weighing up interest in Liverpool midfielder Alexis Mac Allister, but have already been presented an obstacle to the move. Alexis Mac Allister's hopes of securing his ideal shirt number at Manchester United appear doomed from the outset. United are understood to be considering a move for the Liverpool star in what could be the first direct deal between the two clubs since 1964. Yet the potential switch already faces one significant hurdle, as Mac Allister's favoured squad number remains unavailable. This is because Matthias Cunha currently wears the number 10 at Old Trafford and seems unlikely to relinquish it in the near future. McAllister has exclusively donned the number 10 since arriving in the Premier League in 2019. He spent 4 seasons excelling for Brighton while sporting the legendary number before adopting the same shirt at Anfield. Cunha, for his part, has delivered impressive performances in Manchester since being handed his own number 10 for United following his £62.5 million move from Premier League rivals Wolverhampton Wanderers last summer, and the Brazilian may prove reluctant to jeopardise his current form by surrendering the digit to a prospective summer arrival. It's believed United detect a possible opportunity in the market for McAllister following a challenging season for Liverpool. The World Cup winner is far from the only player at Anfield who has failed to discover consistently this campaign, although his circumstances are marginally more delicate than others. The South American has a contract until the summer of 2028, and at 27 years of age, Liverpool might be reluctant about granting Mac Allister another long-term deal, suggesting an approach from United could bear fruit from a practical perspective. Dominik Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch's present deals are also scheduled to conclude in 2028. Nevertheless, Szoboszlai, 25, and Gravenberch, 23, each have more long-term potential than their midfield partner and operate in more specialised roles, suggesting they might be prioritised in contract discussions. There's also Florian Wirtz, who already ranks among the top earners in Arne Slot's squad following his arrival last summer. Yet even if Mac Allister became available this summer, there's no certainty Liverpool would entertain negotiations with United of all clubs. While the number 10 might be unavailable at United, an opportunity could emerge concerning one of Mac Allister's alternative favoured shirt numbers. He previously sported the number 8 during his brief stint with Boca Juniors. That designation currently belongs to none other than United captain Bruno Fernandes at present. Signed for £47 million from Sporting in 2020, there is uncertainty around how much longer the club's skipper will stay at Old Trafford. Saudi clubs remain linked with a summer transfer for Fernandes. Should he depart United later this year, the prospect of inheriting the number 8 shirt could serve as an additional incentive for the prospective midfield signing. However, should he remain at the club, it would prevent McAllister from being able to use either of his 2 preferred shirt numbers. McAllister might represent the next component in United reclaiming their previous standing among Europe's elite. Nevertheless, a minor compromise from the player could be necessary if he's to complete a rare direct move between the 2 Premier League powerhouses. The 10 Liverpool players out of contract in 2027 with 5 exits predicted this summer. Liverpool have 8 players in their current first-team squad and 2 out on loan who are on course to be entering the last year of their contracts in the summer, when many of their fates will be decided. Last summer, Liverpool embarked on a massive spending spree. It was the type of recruitment drive whose repercussions tend to be felt over a couple of years, both in terms of the impact of the new arrivals but also the consequences for existing players. This summer, Liverpool will have other areas they want to strengthen, but contract sagas could draw the main headlines once again. With that in mind, we take a look at the players coming up to the final year of their Liverpool contracts, whom the club will have to decide whether to offer fresh terms to, allow their deals to run down, or take their last chance to sell for a decent price. Mohamed Salah. Salah's contract was a huge topic for Liverpool last season as he kept performing at extraordinary standards while waiting to come to an agreement with the club over a new deal. They eventually settled on a lucrative 2-year deal for one of their best ever goal scorers, but the first quarter of that contract hasn't necessarily gone to plan. Salah seemed to have reached breaking point with Liverpool in December, giving an explosive interview after their clash with Leeds United, implying he was being viewed as a problem by someone at the club. After some time away on duty with Egypt at the Africa Cup of Nations, the bond between Salah and Liverpool has healed somewhat, but it has been a disappointing campaign by both of their standards. In the background, there has been renewed noise about a move to the Saudi Pro League for Salah, with sources confirming to Team Talk that deal-makers are discussing the best club to place him at. It presents Liverpool with a dilemma over Salah's future after rejecting a big Saudi bid for him in 2023. Would they be foolish to turn down a decent offer this time around? It's not a simple question. On paper, Salah is still one of Liverpool's best players, but his high wages mean he could be a burden if he isn't performing at his top level. Uncertainty over the future of Arne Slot as head coach could also have an impact. If Slot is replaced, a new manager could see Salah as someone to build around still. Thus, Liverpool have some other decisions to make before settling on Salah's future. Waiting until the summer could become a risky strategy, but his demands need to be weighed up alongside the situation in the dugout. If a suitable package can be agreed, Liverpool could look into a short-term extension for Salah, but it might be time for his wages to start going down. Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk was in the same boat as Salah last season, but always seemed likely to extend his stay with the club, who he now serves as captain. At the age of 34, he has encountered some signs of natural decline this season, but remains Liverpool's best centre-back. It's a position they have been future-proofing with the signing of Giovanni Leone last summer and the agreement to welcome Jeremy Jacquet in a few months' time. But the prospect of Ibrahima Konate leaving this summer at the end of his contract means Liverpool must keep hold of Van Dijk so they still have some seniority in defence. One thing they will have to consider is whether that's on his existing deal, through which he is one of the best paid defenders on the planet, or on updated terms, perhaps with a reduction in salary. From a business perspective, if Liverpool think they can get 2 more seasons out of their skipper, it would make sense to offer Van Dijk a new deal until 2028, whereby they could spread parts of his salary. His leadership skills could help nurture Leone once he recovers from his serious injury, and Jacquet once he completes his move from Rennes. Alisson Becker, the future of Liverpool's first-choice goalkeeper, could be one of their most intriguing storylines this summer. The signing of Georgi Mamardashvili last summer pointed towards a future without Alisson, who has been one of Liverpool's best ever goalkeepers and remains the regular bearer of the gloves. As recently as last year, Alisson outlined his hopes of returning to international in Brazil at some stage before he retires. There have also been some claims of a move elsewhere in Europe, but one report that he was being lined up by AC Milan can now be dismissed after the Serie A side extended the contract of Mike Maignan. Heading into the summer, Alisson will be firmly focused on representing Brazil at the World Cup. Coincidentally, he arrived at Liverpool in a World Cup year as well, back in 2018. Thus, once his duties are done with Brazil, could he be on the move again? It's worth recalling that Alisson became the most expensive goalkeeper signing of all time when Liverpool bought him from Roma, so the risk of losing him for free in 2026 needs to be addressed. But the 33-year-old has been exceptional value for money, and Liverpool have got plenty of worth out of his performances on the pitch, so much so that they can probably afford to respect any of his wishes with regards to his future. If you have a keeper of Alisson's ability, there's no need to replace him. Mamardashvili may have to be a bit more patient, but Liverpool should keep Alisson into the final year of his contract before all parties sit down and discuss whether he stays beyond then. Curtis Jones. Jones was the subject of serious interest from Inter Milan in January, but Liverpool wouldn't let him go without him signing a contract renewal first, which he is yet to do. The last remaining Scouser in the Liverpool squad, Jones' situation has some emotional factors to balance with his on-pitch relevance. There's a lot to like about Jones' style of play, which he has expressed over the past 7 years since stepping up from the academy ranks. His ball retention and press resistance are cornerstones of his game, while he also has an eye for the occasional shot from distance. If Jones wants to play as an attacking midfielder, though, he has players like Florian Wirtz and Dominik Szoboszlai in his way, which isn't ideal when he should be kicking on at the age of 25. Jones is capable of playing in a deeper midfield role, but he will have to weigh up his place in Liverpool's plans before deciding on his future in the summer. From the club's perspective, though, he is absolutely someone worthy of offering a contract renewal to. Jones is a capable squad player who knows what it means to represent Liverpool. The ball should be put in his court. Joe Gomez. A long-time servant to Liverpool, who was the only player to last the entire course of Jurgen Klopp's reign, Gomez has been held back by injury issues throughout his career. Those issues could be what holds Liverpool back from offering Gomez a new deal, considering he's only started 4 games in the Premier League this season. His versatility is the factor in his favour, since he can help out anywhere across the defence, but Liverpool should be stocking up with specialists for each position in the back 4. With that in mind, this summer, when he'll have turned 29, could be the right time to thank Gomez and let him go. Liverpool could still receive a decent, if not massive, fee for the 15-cap England international and should start fielding interest in his services. Wataru Endo was something of a surprise signing for Liverpool in 2023 when their midfield underwent a transformation and he became one of their new senior figureheads. After his arrival from Stuttgart, the Japan international earned the trust of Klopp to play in a holding role, but his minutes under Slot last season decreased as he was mainly used as a late substitute to see out games. That pattern has continued this season, which makes you wonder how Liverpool would respond to offers for Endo like the one from Marseille worth 11.8 billion that they turned down in the summer of 2024. Now 33 years old, a contract extension beyond 2027 looks fairly unlikely for Endo. If he isn't going to feature prominently in their plans for next season, the fair thing might be to let him go in the summer. Calvin Ramsey. It speaks volumes of Ramsey's place in the Liverpool reckoning that Arne Slot has preferred to turn to midfielders like Dominik Szoboszlai to stand in at right back when natural options in the position have been unavailable. Ramsey has been extremely unlucky with injuries in recent years. Indeed, the 22-year-old still hasn't made his Premier League debut, despite it now being 3.5 years since he joined the club. After various loan spells, the one-time Scotland international was a forgotten man when he wound back up at Anfield this summer. Ramsey remains firmly on the fringes, so it seems quite clear that he doesn't have a long-term future at Liverpool and that he should be on the move again at the end of the season. Stefan Bajcetic also returned to Liverpool from loan exile in the summer, but has been sidelined with injury all season. The Spanish midfielder was once a big prospect for Liverpool, being handed 22 appearances by Klopp, but his progress has slowed for obvious reasons. Liverpool's medical staff will have to carefully assess how Bajcetic is doing with his recovery before any decisions about his future. Still only 21, he could go on to have a good career, but it remains to be seen what kind of faith Liverpool show in him. A renewal might be risky given his physical setbacks, but it might also be the best way to open up options for him to move on loan in the summer, buying Liverpool a bit of time to reconsider his status. The harsh reality, though, might be a sale for Bajcetic. He still has plenty of admirers elsewhere, especially back in Spain, who could take him off Liverpool's hands for a reasonable fee. Harvey Elliott has been trapped in a nightmare this season while on loan at Aston Villa, which was expected to become his permanent exit route out of Liverpool. As a boyhood Liverpool fan, Elliott would have been seeking a high-standard move away from the club last summer after realising he wasn't going to be regarded as a key player. But he hasn't cemented himself as a key player for Villa either, hamstrung by a clause in his loan deal that will force them to pay Liverpool 35 meters if he plays 10 times. Villa aren't entirely convinced about going ahead with that payment, so Unai Emery has barely used Elliott this season. It's turning out to be a wasted year for the 22-year-old. It could yet come to pass that Villa do buy Elliott at the end of the season, taking him off Liverpool's hands. But if he does return to Merseyside, the likelihood is that a new buyer will be sought. Liverpool weren't in any mood to recall Elliott in January and would expect to try and sell him again if they have to make a fresh decision on his future in the summer. Kostas Tsimikas. Tsimikas is spending the 2025-26 season on loan at Roma after falling to third choice in Liverpool's left-back ranks, but he hasn't managed to become a regular starter in Serie A. Nevertheless, the prospect of Andy Robertson being released at the end of this season potentially presents Tsimikas with the chance to reclaim his role as Liverpool's second-choice left-back, now behind Milos Kerkez, with it safe to assume Roma won't be attempting to keep him in Italy. Tsimikas isn't someone to offer a contract extension to at this stage, but it wouldn't be problematic for Liverpool to keep him for the final year of his deal as a rotation player before bringing in new competition at left-back in 2027.